you want to shut that door. Hey, media, we see you starting to file in. We'll just give everyone a minute here. If you want to start getting in the queue to ask Taylor a question, you can please hit the raise hand button at the bottom of your screen. Looks like we got just about everybody. So thank you for joining us for media availability with Taylor Hall. If you want to get in the queue to ask a question, again, it's the raise hand button at the bottom of your screen. And we'll go first to Taylor for just a quick opening statement.
Hi, everyone. Happy to be here talking to you guys. First off, just wanted to thank the Jacobs family for giving me an opportunity to play for Boston this year. It's a great city, obviously a great group of guys, but a tremendous organization that I really enjoyed playing for. Cam Neely, Don Sweeney, just in dealing with these guys and the coaching staff was really enjoyable for me this year, and really happy that I get to play another 4 years with the Bruins. And obviously the teammates that I got to know in my short time in Boston was a huge reason why I wanted to direct my focus to playing for Boston as long as I can. And really happy that we're here talking about it today. So I guess I'll send it over to you guys.
We'll start with Steve Conroy.
Hey, Taylor, congratulations.
Thank you.
Just you touched on it a little bit, but ultimately, what was it that made you eschew the option of going to the open market again, where you may have gotten more term and maybe more money to sign the deal before the 28th?
Yeah, I think there's always that temptation a little bit, but honestly, I think most of my focus throughout this whole process was directed at playing for the Boston Bruins next year and for years to come. So my last go at free agency didn't really go the way I wanted to. That's just my personal experience. And after playing in Boston for that period of time, I knew that's where I wanted to play. And fortunately enough, I was able to deal with some good people, and my agent was able to make it work, and I'm really happy to be here.
Is any concern as to who your centerman will be? I know Kretsch is not signed yet, and there's some uncertainty there.
Yeah, it wasn't too concerning for me personally. I would love to play with David for another year or two, but he's got his own things that he has to deal with. But I think we're comfortable with whoever's going to be there. There's a lot of good players on that team, and I know the organization has a lot of confidence in guys that are able to step up and play in that role. And wasn't a concern for me. It was more I wanted to be a Bruin, and whatever we can do to win hockey games, that's what I wanted to be a part of.
Great, thank you.
Go to Matt Porter.
Hey, Taylor, congrats. Want to ask your opinion on the direction of the team. Obviously, some of the really good players on the team are getting older. You're kind of, I guess you could say, a bridge to, some of the younger talents like Charlie and David. Just what is your feeling on where this team is going?
I think there's a really good mix of both. You can't just have one. You can't just have a super old team, or you can't just have a super young team. I think you have to have a mix of both, guys that have done it before, guys that have played in the playoffs a long time and know what it takes, but also guys that are young and skilled and have that energy and have that hunger. And I think that's what makes Boston a great fit for me. I think the window is still there, at least for another few years. And a group of guys that's committed to try and make a Stanley Cup come to Boston. And that's all I wanted to be a part of. You can't, in this league, sometimes you get caught up trying to be on the perfect team. I was super happy in Boston, and I think we have a great group of guys to accomplish something special.
Go to Dan Roach.
Hey, Taylor, congratulations on the new deal. How long did it take you to make this decision? Was there a moment where you kind of said, okay, this is where I want to play for the next, X amount of years? What was the process like for you?
It was good. I think I knew right away that, playing 5 or 6 games in Boston, that I wanted to be a part of the group. And it was up to me to try and play well and try and, show well enough to have them want me to be a part of it. And, but, the season didn't end the way we wanted to. I think, we could have been right there. We could have been in the finals. We could have been, in the conference finals easily. It just didn't happen. We got beat by a team that, they had some great parts in their team. They had some great players, but I feel like that series, if we played over again, I know every team says that, but it could have gone either way. And, that's the frustrating part. And that kind of left a taste in my mouth that I wanted to come back and do it again with the same group. And that's how I feel today. That's how I feel every day when I'm training and preparing for the season is, trying to be my best when the time counts, and that's playoffs. And that's what I'm looking forward to next year.
Go to Fluto.
Hi, Taylor. Congratulations. I'm wondering, just when you come in from Buffalo, you're trying to fit in and trying to feel your way onto a team and figure out the room and everything. But after having the 20 plus games, where do you think you'd like to come into camp in September, just in terms of presence, in terms of personality, in terms of role? Do you see that being different now that you've got these games under your belt with the team?
That's a good question. I don't see it being different. I think I felt really comfortable right off the bat last year, and I spoke about it. That's a credit to the leadership group and the guys that have, really laid a foundation in. And it's not just the leadership group. It's guys before them. It's, Zdeno Chara, Milan Lucic, Andrew Ferentz. These guys, they did a great job showing the way. And I really enjoyed being a part of that. And it's not only that, the younger guys, they have personality, they have hunger, they want to win, they want to have fun. And it was a good environment for me to come into. And I felt that I was able to be myself right off the bat. And I think that showed in my on ice play. Been on 4 teams in the last 2 seasons. So I've been in a few dressing rooms. You can tell right away when you walk in what the vibe is. And I really enjoyed the vibe in Boston.
Go to Connor Ryan.
Hey, Taylor. Once again, congrats. I know you were able to spend a few months here in Boston, but looking ahead to next year, how much are you looking forward to maybe a bit more of a return to normalcy in terms of more regular schedule, kind of more relaxed off-ice measures and all those things that maybe let you settle in a bit more with your team going forward?
That's going to be great. Full 82 game schedule where we play every team. We go to different cities. We're able to get together as a group of guys off the ice and enjoy ourselves. And that was a tough season for, in many different ways. And, it's tough for you guys. It was tough for coaching staff, the athletic trainers, the equipment guys. It was tough for everyone. So return to normalcy is, I think, what everyone wants in this world. And especially for us hockey players, we have the best job in the world. And the best part, some of the best parts of that job is, going for dinners on the road and getting to know your teammates in a way that you don't really get to know at the rink. So that's going to be awesome. In saying that, even though there were limitations last year, it started to really, the restrictions were lifted as the year went on, and I was able to get out and see Boston a bit. But it'll be nice to buy a house and to not live in a rental and, worry about moving furniture and all that. It'll be nice. I got a home here in Toronto, and I'll have a home in Boston soon. And that's really, really exciting for me and my fiance.
Jimmy Murphy.
Hey, Taylor, congratulations on the new deal and being able to stick around here. I wonder if you can you were just sort of talking about, your immediate first impression there, but if you can take us back into those days leading into where you thought you might have been dealt and what you were hearing about that Bruins locker room, and if maybe it kind of piqued your interest and made you want to come here.
Well, I think the first thing that piqued my interest was in free agency, just talking to Don Sweeney. There was interest there. It just didn't work out. So I feel like Boston was on my radar a little bit. Once things started going south in Boston or in Buffalo a little bit, that's when, my agent and I started talking about, maybe a potential trade and where I would want to go, et cetera. And, Boston was a team that, I think they were looking for, maybe a left winger or someone of my caliber. And I would have liked it to be, sooner than the trade deadline, but they wanted to wait and make sure they had the cap space and all that, which is understandable. And from there, I had a couple teams that were interested in me, and I chose Boston. The biggest reason I chose Boston, I thought there was the best chance to re-sign after the season. And, looking back, that's, it seems like a good bet on my part, and I'm really happy to be here talking to you guys. Looking back to, the month of April, I had a lot of uncertainty about my future. And obviously, like you said, the dressing room and the, the atmosphere in the locker room was something that's pretty well known in the NHL circles, and was something that in my career I think I needed and I wanted to be a part of.
And just a quick follow-up, we had read there were numerous reports that, you guys seemed to be close to signing throughout the week, but maybe that it was the no trade or no movement that was holding things up. Was that able to be settled?
That wasn't really what was holding it up. It was just a couple other things that my agent was going through, but it wasn't anything like that. Once we settled on a number, there was just a couple things that in the contract that held it up, but it wasn't anything to do with no movement or no trade.
Last question, we'll go to Kirk Ledecky.
Hey, Taylor, congratulations. So tonight's draft night, and 11 years ago, you were in this spot. So if you don't mind, take us back to maybe what you were going through, and then what kind of advice would you have for the young Bruins players that you're going to come into contact with that are just beginning their pro career based on your own experience?
Yeah, an incredible night for me and my family. Los Angeles, June 25th. I had a lot of uncertainty with, I could have ended up in Boston. I ended up going number one, but if I remember correctly, there was about 30 cameras on Tyler Seguin and about 7 on me. And I was like, oh, I guess I'm going number 2. And sure enough, I went number 1, and our careers have kind of gone different ways. He won a Stanley Cup his first year. It took me 8 years to make the playoffs. So that's it's always interesting. Draft night's a great night. I hope the kids enjoy it, and it's actually kind of cool that they get to to do it in their homes where they grew up playing and watching hockey and doing all that. But I'm sure they would love to be in person. And for players that are coming in the Bruins organization, I think put your head down and work hard and work smart and come into camp and be a pro. I think that's the best way to get recognized. And at the end of the day, these teams draft you for a reason. They draft you because they saw something in you. And that's really what you have to do is play to your strengths and play to your abilities. Don't try and be a player that you're not. And really enjoy that journey, because, junior hockey and those first couple of years of pro, any guy will tell you those can be some of the most enjoyable times when you're starting your career. So I wish all those kids all the best.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Taylor, and thank you, media, for joining us. We'll send out a transcript as well as a video recording and audio recording. And later on tonight, we'll have availability with a draft pick as well as general manager Don Sweeney on this same exact link. So we'll see you guys later. Thank you, Taylor.